lovelies, it is time for round 80 of Have I Read It? So stay tuned. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. Have I Read It is one of my multiple TBR games that I play in order to help pick my TBR for the upcoming month. And the way this one works is you get to help pick my TBR. So I react to a video from over 3 years ago, one of my hauls, and I tell you if I've read the book, if I haven't read the book, if I've unhauled the book, and out of all the books that I still own that I have not read, you get to vote on which book or books you want me to read in the upcoming month. So I will pick based on what number that is. So if I have 1 to 10 unread, then I'll pick the number 1 voted book. If I have 11 to 20, I'll pick the top 2 voted books, and so on and so on. So this month I am doing 3 Have I Read It's. I've already filmed 1, and this is the 2nd. Today we're going to be reacting to my book haul April 2020, and it doesn't look like a huge amount, like maybe 15-ish, 10 to 15 books, somewhere in there. So fingers crossed, I've read a whole lot of them. I did not do as far as like the ratio on the last one. I think there was like 12 and almost half of them I hadn't read. So hopefully we do a little bit better this time. But let's see, I have the video pulled up here. I've got my earbuds in. Let's get started. Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I have my April book haul for you, so stay tuned. So these are all of the books that I acquired in April, minus any book outlet order I did, because I do those in a separate video. But these are books that were either sent to me or books that I ordered on any other website, or books that came in subscription boxes, things like that. So I have 14 different books to show you. I think I have, actually, let me move this one over here. I have, I believe, 7 middle grade and 7 YA to show you. That actually worked out really well. So I'm going to start with the middle grade, and if you're not interested in middle grade, you can just skip forward to the YA. So the first middle grade I have here is one that was sent to me from their publicist, and that is Dwarf Story by Professor W.W. Marplot. I don't know if I still own this. I think I do, but let me double check. I do still own this. This says, first, Artie finds a sweaty, bearded, axe-swinging warrior dwarf scaring his dogs. Soon enough, Emma, Cry, and other middle school friends also find fairy creatures, elves, spriggans, pixies, and a hoped-for dragon crashing into their normal homework-doing, backpack-carrying, phone-charging school days. Why are these magical beings here? What should be done? Is that axe sharp? Can pixies be given aspirin? Artie with his friends and spying jerks and questionable strangers with long names follow the clues and try to find out, even as things turn dark and dangerous. The mythical beings take sides. The Gwillian, the legendary old woman of the mountains, has a sinister plan that will turn the neighborhood into a fantasy battleground. So if you want me to read this, vote Dwarf Story. I have a feeling that a lot of these middle grades are going to either be unread or unhauled, just because I don't tend to read a whole lot of them nowadays. I did back then, because 4 years ago, well, Xander was 14. So 4 to 6 years ago, I was reading quite a bit more middle grade because Xander was in that age group. But nowadays, not so much. Every once in a while, I will. All right, next up. These next 6 are books that came in the Owlcrate Junior boxes. So we have The Unmapped Chronicles, Casper Talk, and the Ever Dark Wings by Abby Elphinstone. I don't know. I have to check. I do still own this one. I have not read it though. This one says, from best-selling author Abby Elphinstone comes a wondrous new series about 4 secret unmapped kingdoms hidden in our own world. Casper Talk hates risk and is allergic to adventures, so it comes as a nasty shock to him one day when he hides from bullies in an ancient grandfather clock and ends up finding an entire world inside. Casper discovers that his sky kingdom of Rumblestar is one of the 4 unmapped kingdoms in charge of controlling the weather in Casper's own world. What's more, Casper is now stuck in Rumblestar, and the only person there who doesn't think he's a demon spy is a strange girl named Utterly, who hates rules and is allergic to behaving. All Casper wants is to find his way home, but Rumblestar is in trouble. An evil harpy called Morg is trying to steal the magic of the unmapped kingdoms. And if these kingdoms fall, Casper's world will be destroyed as well. And so together with Utterly and her miniature dragon Arlo, Casper embarks on a quest full of cloud giants, storm ogres, and drizzle hags. Can he, Utterly, and Arlo, the unlikeliest of heroes, save both their worlds from the clutches of Morg? This sounds very, very cute. Alright, so if you want me to read this, vote The Unmapped Chronicles. Alright, next up. Next we have The Starspun Web by Cindy O'Hart. I'm not sure. That is one that I still own and have not read. So this says, for fans of Ophelia and the Marvelous Boy comes a thrilling adventure about a brave girl who finds a portal to parallel worlds and must protect her secret from the evil forces trying to capture it. All her life, Tess has lived at Miss Ackerby's orphanage with her friends and her pet tarantula, Violet. But one day, a mysterious man named Mr. Cleet shows up and whisks Tess away to live with him. Before Tess leaves, Miss Ackerby gives her a strange lens and makes an even stranger admission that Tess can travel to parallel worlds, and has been able to do so since she was found as a baby. Now with her newfound abilities and the mysterious lens in tow, Tess must navigate life with Mr. Cleet and his nefarious housekeeper, who seem to be up to more than they let on. As Tess learns about the lens and its role in transporting her to other worlds, she discovers that behind Mr. Cleet's oily smiles is a darker intention, one that could bring the world to its feet. Can Tess keep her secret from Mr. Cleet and figure out what he's up to? And what if the lens falls into the wrong hands? With the help of Violet and her friends from the orphanage, Tess can finally discover the truth about Mr. Cleet and, more importantly, herself. So if you want me to read this, vote The Starspun Web. So far, we are not off to a very good start, but also my guess was like, I said 15-ish, and there was 14, so that was a really close guess. Well, yeah, we're not off to a very good start, because we're 3 books in, and I haven't read any of them, and still own them. Alright, next up. Okay, next up we have Voyage of the Frost Heart by Jamie Littler. I feel like I do still own Frost Heart. Let me check. I do. And I have not read it. This says, the whimsy of Nevermore meets the mythical world building of Neil Gaiman in this unlikely hero's quest to find his parents and find the home he's always longed for. In a snow-covered land where monsters rule the icy tundra, only song weavers hold the power to control these vicious giants. But for centuries, song weavers have been the subject of suspicion. How can those who hold so much power be trusted? Ever since his parents were lost on a pathfinding expedition, Ash has spent his life as an outcast. As a budding song weaver, this village marked him as a potential threat, even though all he wants to do is to protect them. Eager to find his place in the world, he and his cantankerous Yeti caretakers seek passage on the Frostheart, a ship-like sleigh whose mission is to explore faraway lands. There he meets a fast-talking, spunky navigator, a walrus captain with a peg leg who runs a tight sleigh, and a mysterious traveler who encourages him to hone his song. But can Ash's song weaving save the Frostheart from the monsters hiding under the ice, or will his untamed powers put his newfound friends in jeopardy? Also sounds very cute. This seems like one that would be good for me to read during Merry Bookmas. It's actually, the name of the book is not Frostheart, it's Voyage of the Frostheart. So if you want me to read this, vote Voyage of the Frostheart. All right, next up. Next up, we have City Spies by James Ponti. I'm pretty sure I do still own this, and I don't think I have read it. That is correct. So this says, Sarah Martinez is a hacker. She recently broke into the New York City foster care system to expose her foster parents as cheats and lawbreakers. However, instead of being hailed as a hero, Sarah finds herself facing years in juvenile detention facility and banned from using computers for the same stretch of time. Enter Mother, a British spy who not only gets Sarah released from jail, but also offers her a chance to make a home for herself within a secret M16 agency. Operating out of a base in Scotland, the City Spies are 5 kids from various parts of the world. When they're not attending the local boarding school, they're honing their unique skills, such as sleight of hand, breaking and entering, observation, and explosives. All of these allow them to go places in the world of espionage where adults can't. Before she knows what she's doing, Sarah is heading to Paris for an international youth summit, hacking into a rival school's computer to prevent them from winning €1,000,000, dangling 30 feet off the side of a building and trying to stop a villain, all while navigating the complex dynamics of her new team. No one said saving the world was easy. This also sounds fantastic. I understand why I still own all of these, because these are ones that I would definitely see myself still wanting to read. Okay, so if you want me to read this, vote City Spies. All right, next up. Next up, we have The Midnight Hour by Benjamin Reed and Laura Trinder. I'm not sure about this one. I have to check. This is one that I still own and have not read. This says, when strange late-night letters start arriving at home, Emily's parents set off to investigate. But when her parents disappear completely and Emily is left home alone to face the weird strangers that begin to appear at her door, she takes all of the clues at her disposal and makes for the place where the letters came from, the mysterious Night Post. What she'll discover is the secret world of the Midnight Hour, a Victorian London frozen in time, full of magic and monsters. Kept safe at an age-old agreement, the Night Folk have been exiled to a parallel world that can only be accessed by a selected few, including the mail carriers of the infamous Night Post that operate between the two worlds. Emily's parents are key players in keeping the Night Folk safe, but when the division of the two worlds is threatened, Emily must search for her parents while navigating this dark and unknown version of London. Armed with only a packed lunch, her very sleepy pocket hedgehog, and her infamously big, argumentative mouth, she must escape bloodthirsty creatures of the night, figure out her own family secrets, and maybe just save the world. So if you want me to read this, vote The Midnight Hour. This is not going well at all. We're 6 books in, and I still own and have not read all 6 of them. Okay. Fingers crossed that at least when we get to the other side that's not middle grade, hopefully I've read all of them. All right, next up. And then last but not least, we have Echo Mountain by Lauren Walk. I don't know. I do still own this one as well, and I have not read it. This says, a young heroine in the Depression-era Maine is navigating the rocky terrain of her new life on Echo Mountain. After the financial crash, Ellie and her family have lost nearly everything, including their home in town. They have started over, carving out a new life in the unforgiving terrain of Echo Mountain. Though her sister Esther especially resents everything about the mountain, Ellie has found more freedom, a new strength, and a love of the natural world that surrounds them. But there is little joy, even for Ellie, as they struggle with the sorrow and aftermath of an accident that left her father in a coma, an accident for which Ellie has accepted the unearned weight of blame. Urgent for a cure to bring her father back, Ellie is determined to try anything. Following her heart and the lead of a scruffy mutt, Ellie will make her way to the top of the mountain in search of the healing secrets of a woman known only as the Hag. But the mountain still has many untold stories left to reveal to Ellie, as she finds her way forward among a complex constellation of strong women spanning generations. So if you want me to read this, vote Echo Mountain. All right. We're halfway through, and I have not read any of them. So, at this point, if we get 4 more books added to this list, then I'll have to pick the number 2 voted book, or the top 2 voted books. All right, let's continue on. Okay, now on to the YA books here. So the first 2 books that I have are ARCs that got sent to me from Unplugged Book Box. So this first one is the YA ARC, and that is Now That I've Found You by Christina Forrest. Okay, I have not read this, but I don't know if I still own it. I do still own it, and I have not read it. This says, Now That I Found You is a YA novel about searching for answers, love, and your eccentric grandma in all the wrong places. Following in the footsteps of her uber-famous grandma, 18-year-old Evie Jones is poised to be Hollywood's next big star. That is, until a close friend's betrayal leads to her being blacklisted. Fortunately, Evie knows just the thing to save her floundering career. A public appearance with America's most beloved actress, her grandma, Gigi, aka the Evelyn Conaway. The only problem, Gigi is a recluse who's been out of the limelight for almost 20 years. Days before Evie plans to present her grandma with an honorary award in front of Hollywood's elite, Gigi does the unthinkable. She disappears. With time running out and her comeback on the line, Evie reluctantly enlists the help of the last person to see Gigi before she vanished, Milo Williams, a cute musician Evie isn't sure she can trust. As Evie and Milo conduct a wild manhunt across New York City, romance and adventure abound while Evie makes some surprising discoveries about her grandma and herself. So if you want me to read this, about Now That I've Found You. All right, next up. Next was the adult arc that they sent, and that is The Patron Saint of Pregnant Girls by Ursula Heggie. I feel like I might have unhauled this one. Let me check. I did unhaul it. All right, next up. And then these 5 were all Owlcrate books. So the first one we have is Scavenge the Stars by Tara Sim. I don't know if I have unhauled that one or not. Okay, so I have unhauled that one. All right, next up. Okay, next we have The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White. Okay, so this one's a little bit tricky because so I ended up with 2 copies of this book. I have the original copy that Marty had bought for me. It was part of like this Christmas Advent thing he did for me. And I really like the original cover that was on that one. And then this one in the video came in an Owlcrate box. And I think what I ended up doing was I swapped the covers on them so that I could keep the cover from the one Marty got me, but I could keep this actual book because it was signed. And then I unhauled the one that ended up with this cover. But I did read the book. So I think I'm going to say for this particular edition that I unhauled it, but I read it. All right, next up. Okay, next up. Oh, this next one is also another one that was part of my Advent thing that Marty did for me. However, I really like this edition. Let me see if I can find the other one. It's up here. Hold on. So I really like this edition over the original one that Marty got me. But yeah, as you can already see, it's got these beautiful sprayed edges and I love that. So that is Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw. Okay, so Winterwood, that's another one of those that was like an Advent thing. I think I ended up unhauling the one that Marty gave me and keeping this one because it was I liked how it looked better. But I have not read it. I do still own it though. So let's see. This says, from New York Times bestselling author of The Wicked Deep comes a haunting romance perfect for fans of practical magic, where dark fairy tales and enchanted folklore collide after a boy believed to be missing emerges from the magical woods and falls in love with the witch determined to unravel his secrets. Be careful of the dark, dark wood, especially the woods surrounding the town of Fairhaven. Some say these woods are magical, haunted even. Rumored to be a witch, only Nora Walker knows the truth. She and the Walker women before her have always shared a special connection with the woods, and it's this special connection that leads Nora to Oliver Huntsman, the same boy who disappeared from the camp for wayward boys weeks ago, and in the middle of the worst snowstorm in years. He should be dead, but here he is, alive and left in the woods with no memory of the time he'd been missing. But Nora can feel an uneasy shift in the woods at Oliver's presence, and it's not too long after that Nora realizes she has no choice but to unearth the truth behind how the boy she has come to care so deeply about survived his time in the forest, and what led him there in the first place. What Nora doesn't know, though, is that Oliver has secrets of his own, secrets he'll do anything to keep buried, because as it turns out, he wasn't the only one to have gone missing on that fateful night all those weeks ago. For as long as there have been fairy tales, we have been warned to fear what lies within the dark, dark woods. And in Winterwood, New York Times bestselling author Shay Earnshaw shows us why. So if you want me to read this, vote Winterwood. All right, next up. Okay, next up we have All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. I feel like I read this one, but I'm not sure. Let me check. No, it doesn't look like I read it. It does look like I still own it. It'd be in my guest room closet. So this says, set in a kingdom where danger lurks beneath the sea, mermaids seek vengeance with song and magic as a choice. She will reign. As princess of the island kingdom Visidia, Amora Montera has spent her entire life training to be High Animancer, the master of souls. The rest of the realm can choose their magic, but for Amora, it's never been a choice. To secure her place as heir to the throne, she must prove her mastery of the monarchy's dangerous soul magic. When her demonstration goes awry, Amora is forced to flee. She strikes a deal with Bastion, a mysterious pirate. He'll help her prove she's fit to rule if she'll help him reclaim his stolen magic. But sailing the kingdom holds more wonder and more peril than Amora anticipated. A destructive new magic is on the rise, and if Amora is to conquer it, she'll need to face legendary monsters, cross paths with vengeful mermaids, and deal with the stowaway she never expected, or risk the fate of Visidia and lose the crown forever. I am the right choice, the only choice, and I will protect my kingdom. So if you want me to read this, vote All the Stars and Teeth. Okay, so that puts us at 10. I think I might have said before I was one away from having to do the top two, but now I'm one away. Yeah, I'm at 10 right now. But it looks like there's only one book left. So that's going to be the deciding factor, is this last book. Oh my goodness. Okay, fingers crossed. Next. And then the last book we have here, I don't know if you can actually see it in the camera, but it also has some beautiful sprayed edges. It has silver foiled edges. Also, absolutely love that. And that is The Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu. I feel like I've read it. I think maybe I have. I have to double check. I have read it. I was thinking this was the one about like Mozart's sister or something. I think that's what this one is. I read it. I gave it 4 stars and I still own it. It is. It's Mozart's sister. Ah, yay. Okay. I only have to pick the number 1 voted book. Oh my goodness. I was so nervous because I had no clue what that last book was going to be. Ah. Okay. So there are 10 choices here, so I will pick just the number 1 voted book. So you can vote for Dwarf Story, The Unmapped Chronicles, The Starspun Web, Voyage of the Frost Heart, City Spies, The Midnight Hour, Echo Mountain, Now That I've Found You, Winterwood, or All the Stars and Teeth. So comment below which book or books you would like for me to read in the upcoming month. And like I said, I'll pick the number 1 voted book. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye!